Because the hierarchy of power in the DC universe is about to change.
I don't think you have the facilities for that, big man.
2 words. Black Adam.
For what feels like years, maybe even decades, Dwayne The Rock Johnson has been telling us that the hierarchy of power in the DC universe is about to change. After watching Black Adam, I can assure you that the hierarchy remains pretty much the same as it was before. However, has The Rock changed the DCEU? Is there some hope for the DCEU universe moving forward? Well, sure as hell is not any hope as long as the movies continue to be this bad. Here's my review for Black Adam. As far as The Rock is concerned, this film has taken about 15 years to make. The Rock was cast as the character way back even before Man of Steel even came out. So supposedly, this film has been in production for over 15 years. Despite this, it seems that the script was written in 15 minutes. Which brings me to my first major issue with Black Adam. The writing is rubbish.
Heroes don't kill people.
Well, I do.
Oh my God! Wow!
The story itself starts off with a 10-minute exposition dump, which attempts to provide us with Black Adam's origin story, introducing us to his life as a slave in 2000 BC. While this prologue contains some cool visuals, the film attempts to rush through the origin story of Black Adam in about 10 minutes flat. But even so, it does not provide us with Black Adam's true and full origin story. It deliberately misleads the audience and blurs vital details that come into play later on. And I feel like the decision to begin the film with this short-form origin story is just to get the character development out of the way, so that the rest of the movie can take place with dumb and exciting large-scale action. We want to see Black Adam kill some people, so let's forget about why we want to kill innocent people in the first place, and just get his whole origin story over and done with in the first 10 minutes. It is this blatant disregard for character motivation that reminds me so much of the MCU.
That is one big pile of shit.
Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness doesn't actually care about the personal exploration of Stephen Strange. It just cares about wrecking the multiverse so Kevin Feige can deliver some exciting cameos for the fans.
I'm the smartest man alive. Reed Richards.
Smartest man alive.
Speaking of the MCU, the writing team for Black Adam is grossly underqualified. You know, there was a time when DC movies were written by talented writers, such as the great Christopher Nolan. Now, with the exception of maybe James Wan and James Gunn, however, that's pushing it, there are no talented creatives behind any of these movies. The Rock says this is his passion project and he's been working on this film for so long, yet the writing team he hired are best known for absolutely nothing. It's just like the MCU. The MCU used to have talented writers, for instance, the people behind the Daredevil Netflix series, or even Jon Favreau behind the first Iron Man. Now, get excited, because Marvel's bringing Daredevil back, except this time the character's being written by absolute nobodies. That's how it is now. Dwayne The Rock Johnson is not an actor, he's an entertainer. Whether it's Baywatch or Rampage or Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle, he's playing himself, and he's an incredibly charismatic guy and has great comedic timing, and I enjoy watching him in those movies. But you know, when you go to see a movie starring The Rock, you're not going to be getting a groundbreaking piece of cinema. However, I'm also disappointed by The Rock not having the pointy ears and black hair that is present in the comic book character. You know, the source material that this film is based off. Here's a scene from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood that I feel directly related to this scenario.
About your hair. Oh, what about my hair?
I want to go with a different hairstyle.
What?
Something more hippie-ish.
You want me to look like a hippie?
Well, think less hippie, more Hell's Angel.
Say,
Get an Indian
Sam, got me covered up in all this, this junk. How's the audience gonna know it's me?
I hope they don't. I don't want them to see Jake Cahill. I want them to see Caleb. I hired you to be an actor, Rick. Not a TV cowboy. You're better than that.
While I can see that The Rock is trying very hard, his performance isn't enough to carry this film. Put him on screen with real actors like Pierce Brosnan, and suddenly everyone walks out of Black Adam's theatre thinking about Dr. Fate and how cool his character was. People aren't talking about Black Adam's origin story, they're talking about the JSA. Speaking of which, the Justice Society of America are a retro-themed Justice League that is defending the world in the 1940s. Well, at least that is how it is in the comics. You know, the thing this is based off. In Black Adam, they've taken some creative liberties with many things, including the team roster of the JSA. As far as I can tell, Hawkman is the only member of the JSA in the film that is a member of the JSA in the comics. Dr. Fate is a villain, so I do not really know why he was there in the first place. However, I'll let it go because he's a cool character. But further, Atom Smasher and Cyclone, I mean, these are C-list DC characters. But then the more I think about it, Black Adam is a C-tier DC character as well. From a visual standpoint, Black Adam shows potential in certain scenes. As I mentioned, the prologue of Ancient Times has some great colour grading, and some of the slow motion shots in this period look gorgeous. But as soon as we get to modern day, the film just becomes yellow. And the green screen is about as visible as it was in Spider-Man No Way Home. It's tough to get immersed in a superhero film when I'm just sat there with second-hand embarrassment as a CGI Dwayne Johnson fights a CGI Hawkman with a million explosions going off in the background, buildings collapsing, and I don't feel the weight of any of that destruction at all. I don't understand how Iron Man from 2008 and Man of Steel from 2013 can have better CGI and visuals than some of the more recent comic book films like Spider-Man No Way Home, Black Adam, and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I don't think it's the visual effects department's fault. I think that they're not given enough time, and the directors of the movies don't have a precise vision of what they want their VFX to achieve. It's very disappointing to see. I recently read through the Watchmen graphic novel, and the visuals in that book are so important to convey the story. And it's such a shame that the Hollywood machine seems to have forgotten how important the visuals are to comic book storytelling. I've been pretty tough on Black Adam so far, so let me tell you what I did like about the film. And we'll enter spoiler territory here. The costume design throughout the entire film is great. Black Adam's final suit, as well as Dr. Fate's and Hawkman's suits, are beautiful. Dr. Fate's is obviously the standout, and the fact that this suit is completely mocap is incredibly impressive. Usually, those CGI suits look terrible. Just ask John Krasinski in Multiverse of Madness. But Dr. Fate's looks magnificent. I'm also a big fan of Lorne Balfe's score for this film. Black Adam's theme has some nice villainous tones to it, and I enjoyed the times when that score was given some airtime to shine. Unfortunately, it wasn't at the forefront of the mix, unlike other better DC films like Zack Snyder's Justice League and Man of Steel. However, I did hear a JSA theme, so I appreciate Lorne Balfe creating those themes, and perhaps they can be used in later movies, just like Hans Zimmer created the Wonder Woman theme that was then used again in Wonder Woman's solo movie and then also in Zack Snyder's Justice League. Let's not forget, Lorne Balfe composed Black Widow, which has got to be one of the most forgettable soundtracks in comic book history, so I'm pleasantly surprised by this score. While the JSA's appearance doesn't make a lot of sense, and they don't have much character development, it's nice to see a DC movie that intends to branch out the universe. We've been introduced to 4 more superheroes in this movie, and that's a positive thing for DC's future. After all, if we look at something like Wonder Woman 1984, that movie not only destroys the character of Wonder Woman, but it doesn't help the DC universe going forward. In fact, it only breaks canon and contradicts future events. At least Black Adam stands on its own, while introducing some new cool characters that we may see in the future. While Black Adam is clearly borrowing the Marvel formula in this department, I actually applaud this move. So to bring this review to a close, Black Adam is a standard, modern, Marvel superhero movie with all the flaws that have been commonly present in Marvel movies since 2019. Poor writing, poor VFX, and poor direction are what holds The Rock back from really changing the hierarchy of power in the DC universe. But at the end of the day, you have to recognise that Black Adam isn't an A-list DC character, so maybe it was doomed to fail anyway. Regardless, The Rock's not changing any hierarchies with a writing team this bad. There's nothing about this movie that is unique to the DC world or even to Black Adam himself. They don't leverage the source material enough. It's just another standard Marvel movie with cringe humour interjected for the sake of keeping things light and entertaining. I'm so sick of this stupid comic book movie garbage. It's all the same. There's nothing unique about it. I don't look at this movie and see a badass Black Adam origin story. I look at this movie and I see The Rock dressing up to fulfill his own fantasy with some cool DC stuff interjected for the sake of the entertainment of others. If The Rock really listens to the DC fans, we'll see the writing team improve next time. The most important things to come out of Black Adam is to introduce the JSA and to bring Henry Cavill back as Superman. Only time will tell if these introductions can be converted into goals for the DCEU universe moving forward. As a DC fan myself, I had some dumb fun with this film. It was cool to see Hawkman and Dr. Fate in live action for the first time. But if this is as good as it gets, I'm just going to go back into my cave with my 3 Snyderverse movies on repeat. So, Mr. Rock, I admire your enthusiasm, but the hierarchy of power in the DCE universe is unchanged.